Hey John, what are you looking at?
Oh, Carolyn, I'm going over those invoices from all the problems we had the last couple of weeks. It's just me. I feel like I keep getting kicked in the...
Nuts?
Oh, no thanks. I had a really good breakfast. Okay, so we had the motherboard go out on the trailer. We have cool control for the air conditioner replaced. I ended up doing the control charger is on its way right now. We've got the propane valve on the fridge is replaced. Man, it may sound crazy, but I feel like I'm going...
Nuts?
No, I better save room for dinner. Okay, to top it all off, we're coming over the Mighty Mac, and sure enough, it ends up the leaf springs fall off and fall onto the trailer just because a bolt came out because it had some faulty...
Nuts.
No. Well, actually, yes. But that's okay. MoRide sent us a couple extra ones. Well, we're here. I love it here. You know, maybe we should go ahead and relax. Put my feet up. Maybe I'll go ahead and take you up on that snack.
Oh, here.
Nuts! Welcome back, everybody, to the Grand Shamrock Tour. I'm John.
I'm Carolyn.
And we'll get back to that maple creamy in just a minute. But first, let's talk about the weather.
Well, there was a lot of weather when we were up in Maine. So we've been trying to get from Maine over to Vermont and upstate New York.
Right, and we did it during the time when Montpelier, Vermont was receiving those record rainfalls and all the flooding.
Oh, yeah. And just that drive, I mean, we got over to the visitor center, even in Vermont, and so many roads were closed, actually.
Yeah.
They detoured us south,
He
a
did.
different direction.
He took us through some water crossings that he had no idea were water crossings. He thought they were still roads.
Oh, you know, but we made our way through, and then there was no turning back.
No, there
either.
wasn't. No.
No.
But before we left Maine, just so you know, I want everybody to know, before we left Maine, we were on a podcast.
We were, and what extraordinary people that we met.
Yeah.
Travels with Delaney.
Travels with Delaney they have their own YouTube channel, and then they have a podcast, and they were kind enough to ask us to go on their podcast. So if you would like, there's a link to the podcast right here.
Oh, I'm gonna hope so, but I'll leave at least the title.
Yeah.
I can't link it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh, well, they did such a great job.
Yeah, we really enjoyed doing the podcast, and so we hope you enjoy listening to it.
Oh,
but
yeah, for
let's
sure.
get over to Vermont.
Okay, so we actually stayed in Westport, New York, in the Barber Homestead campground.
Right, on Lake Champlain.
Yeah, it was on Lake Champlain, which was south, real close to Vermont.
Mm-hmm.
That lake was just about full, and I think it filled while we were
We're supposed
there.
to have a beach, but the beach was about 1.5 feet underwater when we got there.
That's so true.
Yeah,
That's so true. It
was a great location for us to do all the things that we wanted to do, which for me included obviously Lake Placid.
Yeah. The nice thing about having all the rain, though, things are green.
Oh, it was
John.
very green.
Pretty much everywhere we've been now has been green this last couple of months. New York loves their Adirondacks.
Yes, they do.
They're very proud of the ADK.
Yeah.
It's got 2,000 miles of trails.
Well, I was surprised at how much wilderness there is. It is, you know, you think of New York and you think of the big city, you know, you say New York, and you think of Buffalo and the Niagara Falls. But somewhere in between was an amazing wilderness area.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we actually got to experience quite a bit of that, riding the motorcycles.
Yep.
And the views were great. But we did get out and try out one of their hikes. They have 46 peaks at over 4,000 feet.
Well,
they do a lot of hiking.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. We only had the opportunity to choose one, and we ended up choosing Owl's Head that day, and really glad we did, because Owl's Head had perfect 360-degree views, and it had Adirondack chair.
Yes, it did. It's a natural Adirondacks.
Actual Adirondack chair.
Yeah, and it's not one you get to bring home with you,
No,
is it, John?
No, you can't.
I had a hard time taking you away from that one.
There are so many hikes up there. If people are familiar with that part of the world, and they've got some great hikes, man, we'd love it if you put it in the comments some of the places you've been to, because if we come through there again, it was such a great place to hike. We're looking forward to...
Oh, yeah. I would be curious if people have hiked there, or, what their thoughts are.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is, even though there's a lot of water, we can at least take a ferry.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's not going to slow you down.
No.
No. So do you got something in here? Okay, so I'll follow you. Okay. No.
And what motorcyclist doesn't want to take a ferry?
Well, if you've got that, you worked really hard for during that hike. I think you deserved that treat.
Oh yeah, that Maple Creamy is located in Burlington, Vermont.
Yes.
And
Burlington, Vermont was a great town, a college town. It was very energized. It had just a great feel to it. Which had the best maple creamies according to everyone, and they're not going to get an argument out of me. The Grand Shamrock Tour. We've been riding motorcycles since October of 2020.
What's it called?
Oh boy.
we finally got that Maple Creamy. Thank you, Duncan.
Yeah, they were delicious.
Told me about it,
Yeah.
and until we found one, I wasn't gonna rest.
and it was part of our journey that day, which included going up through the Hero Islands. There's South Hero Island, North Hero Island, and then Carolyn, what was the name of those? It was a French.
The Alburgh.
No, Lamont.
Isle Lamont.
Isle Lamont, and then it was Alburgh.
Yeah.
And Alburgh for me was fascinating because Alburgh is a peninsula of land that comes in and is part of the United States, but does not connect to or touch the United States. How does that work?
Yeah. I think that there's a few of those.
I think it's the only one. I think it's the only one in the world, at least as far as I know.
I think there might be a couple,
as far as I know.
But
it actually comes in from Canada, so the only way to get there is by bridge, and then we took the bridge on the other side, and we ended up back in New York.
Yeah, so we rode almost all the way around Lake Champlain, the Champlain Islands, and our final stop was the Ausable Chasm.
Yeah.
Which was pretty.
Really pretty.
Yeah, but
privately held, so you don't.
Tourist.
It's a tourist spot.
Yeah.
So it's privately held. It's going to cost you $20 if you want to go down in there. It's free to ride back and forth on your
I
motorcycle.
think if you're a motorcyclist just riding over the bridge,
Yeah.
is where you should be. Well, that was a very good ride.
It was a good loop.
A good loop. Yeah.
But it does bring us to the end of our time in New York, and that was the part that we've alluded to, we talked about. We actually did an episode on where we were hit by the storm and everything that happened afterwards. And so for about 3 weeks we've been battling a bunch of gremlins, doing all kinds of things. But living in an RV is not just always rainbows and unicorns. It can be a bit of a challenge sometimes. And one of the things that we try to do is meet the challenge. And we feel like we have been able to manage everything that has been placed in front of us and got us up here to the UP.
I'm so glad. We're really proud of you for all of your thoroughness in making sure everything got put back together. For one, it's really handy.
Well, I sure learned a lot.
You've been great.
Yeah.
But one of the goals was to get back up here to the Upper Peninsula. I'm looking forward to sharing what that really looks like.
Yeah, it's so special, and we did so enjoy it. It's actually the very first location that we have been back to because we wanted to. Sorry, Indiana. That we by choice came back to, and that's up here in Newseed. So I want everybody to look forward to what's coming up because there's a channel up here called YouperTube.
Oh, YouperTube.
Yeah.
And if you want to watch that, you should probably subscribe.
Yeah.
And maybe like.
Yeah, I hope you like it. If you do like our videos, please let us know. Either drop us a comment, give us a thumbs up. We're trying like the dickens to learn what you guys want and how we can grow this channel. We're grateful for the people that have helped us along the way, and I think that's what we're gonna catch up on next week.
That sounds good. On that note, travel safe.
And we'll see you out there on the road. A lot of water makes this even more dramatic.